certainly do.
And boy, do I love all of you. We are live, and it's always so much fun in the back room. However, we do have to come out of the room and save some of the fun stuff for the people that are watching. So, Scano, hello everyone. Jody Nigasso. I'm actually going live on Instagram right now, and it's two separate pieces. So I'm here and I'm present in the room with these amazing human beings that we get to spend time with over the next hour and a bit. I'd like to welcome everyone in this moment, and those of you who will join us later. My name is Jody Harbour. I'm co-founder of Grandmother's Voice, a grassroots organization and platform elevating Indigenous wisdom. And it's an honor to be here with each of you tonight and those who will be watching the recording in ceremony, lifted by the heartbeat of Mother Earth and held in the sacred presence of the ancestors. Each week we gather in this circle with grandmothers and grandfathers from across 7 continents, elders whose lives are rooted in sacred knowledge, ancestral memory, and a deep commitment to healing, truth, and spirit. Their voices carry the wisdom we need in these times, wisdom not born of theory, but out of lived experience, of ceremony, of connection to land and spirit. This is not just a series, it's a remembering, a weaving of story and spirit that calls us back to who we are and to who we are becoming. Now's the time to gather, to listen, to honor the voices of the elders who have carried these teachings through generations. Welcome. Grandmother Susan and Hoksila is our speakers this evening. Grandmother Gail Whitlow from Grandmother's Voice is here, and we have Pookie Lee.
Okay, thank you, Jody. Thank you always for those beautiful words that you lead us in with. It's like following the river. Thank you. So my moment here will be just to introduce our beloved Pookie Lee. And as you can see, she's had her leg injured and she's still here with us to come out and help us. And I'm just so grateful. She was here our first night and she will be with us many times. I have this feeling. So aloha, ka'akeako. Thank you. Thank you, Pookie Lee, for coming. She's sitting there with the grandmother drum, who is in her stewardship at this time. And she's been taking it to different places. Grandmother has had a lot of work to do thanks to Pookie. She's been very busy. As many of you know, I have my year where I'm staying home and not doing too much. And so Pookie has taken over that responsibility. And I'm so grateful to her for doing that. Walking Crow made that grandmother drum for us all. And she is doing her work in many different places because of Pookie. So Pookie's here tonight. The song that she brings will take us all into this beautiful space. And so with that, my beloved Pookie, I pass the feather to you.
Mahalo, Grandmother Susan. It's such an honor to be here with all of you, to honor our grandmothers, our grandfathers, and the wisdom that they carry. So powerful, the wisdom that they hold. And tonight we are going to hear from 2 beautiful wisdom keepers who are going to share with us their kuleana, their heart, their mission, their purpose. And it is an honor to be here with the grandmother drum, to be able to open up this circle in a good way. Mahalo nui loa. E ho mai ka iki mai luna mai e. O na mea huna no ki au no mele e. E ho mai. E ho mai. E ho mai. E ho mai ka iki mai luna mai e. O na mea huna no iau, o na mele e ho mai, mai. E ho mai. E ho mai. Ka iki mai. Luna mai e. O na mea huna. No iau. O na mele e. E ho mai. E ho mai. E ho mai e. Creator of all that is, we are so grateful for this time that we have where we can gather together in this sacred space, our hearts united as one, anchoring in the vibrations of love, compassion, and healing. We call in the wisdom of the ancient ones, the grandmothers, the grandfathers, calling into this space to surround us in this moment right now. As we open up our hearts to learn from the wisdom of the ancient ones, from the wisdom of the wisdom keepers that are holding us in their hearts. We are so grateful and thankful for this time together, and may you anoint us this day with your love, your wisdom, your beauty, your power, that our hearts might be deepened in a more compassionate way of walking this sweet sacred earth. And so it is with great humility that I say mahalo, mahalo nui loa, for all of the blessings that will be delivered in our sacred time together. And so it is.
Us in such a beautiful space, and that beautiful space was so sacred for your family to honor us with that beautiful dance and song on our sacred journey. So we
Can't hear you. I can't hear you, Gail. I don't know if anybody else can. Can we all hear Gail?
No.
No.
no, it said that I was unmuted, then I was muted, and so
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you hear me now?
Yes, and now we can hear you.
Now
We're
you can hear
supposed to
me.
flow into a video as
Oh,
well,
okay.
so I'm not sure where that is right now.
Okay, so let's flow into the video first before I
Yeah.
make my introduction. Yes.
I think that's what Jody may be working on. Well,
Yes.
What if
there we
the past,
go.
present, and the future could meet right here, right now?
October 14th and 15th, 2025 are not ordinary days. They represent a threshold of harmony, a moment of perfect synchronicity woven into the invisible fabric of time, an opportunity to recognize more deeply who we are and how we can attune to the pulse of the universe. In an unprecedented phenomenon, 3 distinct calendars, the Maya long count, the sacred Tzolk'in, and the Gregorian calendar, align, orchestrated by the golden proportion. This is a unique convergence of time cycles that will not happen again, masterfully synchronized by the mathematical code of creation. But what does this alignment truly mean? To understand it, we must delve into the science behind the golden ratio. Nature reveals a divine pattern in every expression of creation, from the spiral shape of galaxies to planetary orbits, from the arrangement of leaves and flowers to the proportions of the human body and the structure of our DNA. This pattern is the golden proportion and is mathematically expressed as the number 1.6188033. For centuries, mathematicians, artists, and sages have recognized it and incorporated it in the creation of temples, pyramids, and works of art, seeking to reflect the inherent harmony that exists in the cosmos. Now, when we speak of the golden intersection of timelines, we are referring to a unique event in which the cycles of time converge, orchestrated by this same pattern of universal harmony, reminding us that time is art. How is this so? The harmonic convergence of time. On October 14th to 15th, 2025, exactly 443 years, equivalent of 161,803 days, will have passed since the start of the Gregorian calendar in 1582, a fractal manifestation of the golden number. In the Maya long count, this date is recorded as 13.0.13.0.0 Ahau, a cosmic marker announcing the completion of 2 great cycles, 13 baktuns of 144,000 days and 13 tons of 360 days since the beginning of the Mayan calendar in 3114 BCE. This double alignment is unique, as the number 13 holds the cyclical foundation of the advanced Maya science of time and holds the 7th position of the Fibonacci spiral, governed by the golden ratio. In the Tzolk'in, the sacred 260-day count, the day 4 Ahau, or 4 Sun, marks the very same day that marked the start and the end of the great cycle of 13 baktuns, symbolically guiding us back to the origin of time. Positioned within the golden section of this sacred cycle, 4 Ahau invites us to attune in perfect harmony with the sun, our source of light and life. But the resonance of this day doesn't end there. It projects far into the future, synchronizing with the start of the 21st Baktun on October 14th, 4772. Thus, the great cycles of Maya time connect on a vast golden spiral, upon which our ancient future past blends into the eternal present moment with impeccable precision. Time is speaking to us. All of this occurs in the language of time and number, but also in the language of the soul. These events are not mere coincidences. They are expressions of a cosmic harmony, showing us that time also follows the laws of a higher order. Within the Mayan worldview, time cycles are not just numbers. They are harmonic chords of a cosmic symphony, orchestrated by the divine pattern that weaves all life into the infinite spiral dance of creation. Now, this same pattern synchronizes calendars and cultures, reminding us that ancestral knowledge resonates with the universal principles of harmony. By recognizing the value of both science and tradition, we are invited to learn from our ancestors and celebrate the wonder of existing in a universe governed by elegant design principles. A galactic pulse that beats once again. Astronomically, this event may mark the most significant moment of synchronization since the galactic alignment of December 21st, 2012, when the solstice sun aligned with the heart of the Milky Way, closing the great Maya cycle of 13 Baktuns. Now, the golden intersection of timelines opens a portal, a resonant spiral that continues the great story of time. It is a golden opportunity to remember that we are part of a vast universal melody, and that every heartbeat, every number, every day is speaking to us. An opportunity to remember, recognize, and be reborn. This convergence of time cycles comes at a pivotal moment, exactly 533 years after the so-called Meeting of Cultures of 1492. But what if, instead of reopening old wounds, we choose to re-signify the past through a higher awareness in the present? This event is a reminder that, despite our cultural and temporal differences, we are all connected by the same universal laws. It is a call to honor ancestral wisdom, to build bridges between science and spirituality, between art and culture, between tradition and transformation, between the memory of the past and the vision of the future. It is a once-in-a-lifetime window to pause and ask ourselves, how do we wish to live the time that has been gifted to us on Earth? Time is Art, October 14th and 15th, 2025, offer a magnificent opportunity to celebrate together the beauty of the universe we inhabit, and that inhabits us. It is a unique moment to gather in community, to light sacred fires, to meditate, to dance, to sing, or simply to contemplate life through the innocent eyes of a child, and to remember that we are not separate from the earth or the sky. In a time when humanity faces global challenges that require unity and long-term vision, synchronizing in a shared pulse of time can strengthen our sense of planetary community. The golden intersection of 2025 reminds us that mathematics, art, astronomy, and culture can intertwine into a message of harmony and hope. This moment is no coincidence. It is pure synchronicity. And in this divine moment, we may recognize ourselves once again and blossom together as a new humanity. See you at the golden intersection of October 14th to 15th, 2025, where the past, the present, and the future converge in perfect harmony. May peace, harmony, and beauty prevail on Earth.
Oh.
Wow. So now you know. Now you know we're in this time of no time, this time of great change, and we all play a very important part in that knowing. So in that knowing, we have this beautiful grandmother Susan. I just have to let you know we have been on many amazing journeys. The only thing I can say about her to sum her character up is magic. This woman has created so much magic and has crossed so many barriers that I could tell you in maybe 20 years everything that has happened, and it's all been beautiful. And this is a woman of heart that you're going to listen to tonight. Everything that she does is deep from the heart, and it also is to empower us to find what we're looking for, and more importantly, she has lived that, in her journey of life. She has found what she is looking for, and though it took a few years to find, she finally found that beauty and has created even a more beautiful Susan from within. And so rather than me, carry on, because I could carry on for a long time. Like I said, many, many years of travel and experience and ceremony. Let's hear from this beautiful grandmother, and I know that you'll be filled to your fullest place tonight with both of our speakers here. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Grandmother Susan.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you so much. I was wondering what you're going to say. We do truly have a history together. And
Yes.
I remember one time when I told her, I forget where I was coming from Scotland to Poland, I think. And it had been really busy time. And I got home and I said, that's it. And I called her up in Canada and I said, that's it. I'm done. I'm not doing any of this anymore. I'm so finished. And she went out and got in her truck and drove 11 hours to my house and got out, didn't even knock on the door, took me to the river and did a beautiful healing with me and turned my life around. There's been a few other times, more than I can count, when she turned my life unexpectedly around, and she's done really sacred things with me as well, and took me to a boarding school in Canada to do a ceremony there that also changed my life, and she's been that for me. So thank you, Gail. You're truly my sister, truly.
Truly.
Thank you. And I wish that Pookie was still on here too, because I would like to add Pookie to that as well. Just even the fact that she would do this with us tonight and, step up out of her poor leg and do this for us with the drum was really beautiful. And I'm grateful for her as well. And she's the balance, isn't she? With us, the wings on the bird. So, and grandmother Renee, of course, and Jody too. So we're grateful, and we will get to John in a moment. John, you're not getting out of this. I get to introduce you, but so the reason that I had chosen that video and asked Jody if she would play it, I saw it inadvertently one night. It just came into my life, and I couldn't believe it. And I watched it over and over and over and over because, for me, the whole reason for this series that we're doing right now, with messages from the heart of the mother, is that so many of us are experiencing what feels like absolute, pure, unadulterated chaos, where we can't depend on the people or the systems that we always had felt were going to be in charge and take care of us. And everything is just going berserk, and we're watching it and feeling it. And there are all these different things that are coming along. And that's why the truth is it's so important for us to have that expansive awareness of the fact that there is something far greater than what meets the eye, even what comes over our phones and the internet. There's something so powerful and beautiful that even the tiniest grain of sand has in concert with the universes and the universes and the universes and the universes. Everything has this divine order. And I was talking with Deb today, Deb out in Pennsylvania, and she reminded me because I was feeling like, I don't know if I can do this tonight. And then I got a phone call from somebody else. I don't know if I'm really up for this. And then somebody else called and said, well, I don't know. And, we're all feeling like that. Are we adequate? Are we inadequate? Are we able to do? Are we able to accomplish? And she reminded me that yesterday was the solar eclipse. Today is the fall equinox. Tonight we're heading into the new moon. The first day of the new moon. I mean, the hunter moon. I mean, look at us. We've been through the 888 portal. We've been through the Lion's Gate. All these different signs in the heavens, that we've been looking for and being told about, and they're all happening now at warp speed. The solar flares and the different things that are happening. Is this chaos, or is this all part of the greater picture, the bigger picture? And that's where these talks, I feel, are so important, because as we get these wonderful elders and grandmothers coming and sharing the teachings that were gifted to them, and gifted to them. And I wanted to share in the very beginning, I wanted to bring my pot. This is, I wish you could see it. It's so beautiful. It glows. It has these little speckles. Priscilla V. Hill, who is she's moved on now, but she was a Pueblo grandmother in my life. And she came to me one day to my little house on the reservation at Gila River Indian Community. And she said, Susan, I have something for you. And she unfolded the towel, and there was this pot, and it was so beautiful in its purity and its simplicity. And she said, Susan, this is my last pot. A lifetime of making pots. This is her last one. Her husband had a stroke and was now in a wheelchair. She didn't have the time and the ability to go out and do the things that she was doing before. But she wanted me to have the gift of her last pot. And I've carried this with me for years. Long after she left, I've carried this with me, and I've thought about that. What is the last thing that we want to leave? Is it a word? Is it a song? Is it something that we've created in our own hands? Is it someone that is gifted to us? What is that? And is there ever really an ending to anything? And to me, I believe that right now in this place that we're in, there is a huge work that each one of us came to do specifically. I talk to the youth and I'll say, I have a question for you. Why, of all the times that you have chosen to come to Earth, why would you choose now with all this crazy stuff that's going on? We make a list of some of it. And why would you choose to come now? And they look at me and I say, when you have that answer, you have that purpose. You know what your purpose is, because the answer to that question is why you are here now. And do you know what? I have never had a youth unable to answer that question. And they'll answer it, and then they'll say it again. And sometimes they'll say it 3 times, but every time they grow in the strength of what they're saying. And it's the same for each of us. Why are we here? Why are we here now in this time? So as I was thinking about what it is that I really wanted to talk about, and there were a million different things when I was listening to Pookie and she was saying aloha, I thought about that, in kind of well-worn terms. Aloha is hello, goodbye, I love you. It's a tourist word in Hawaii, but alo is life. Alo is life. And ha is breath. So when I say, oh, welcome, aloha, come in, it means with the sacred breath of my life, I'm welcoming you. And when it's time to go, aloha, with the sacred breath of my life, I send you on your way, but my breath will never end and it'll never stop loving you, because my life will never end either. And so even a little word, if we sit there and think about that, like a name, what's in a name? And I was listening to my beloved brother, well, he's my grandson, Tony Smigo. I was listening to him, I think it was this morning or yesterday, and I think it was this morning, he was talking about his life. He was adopted and raised by a wonderful adopted family. And so was I. I understand that. And I have another friend, Jonathan, up in Minnesota. He's going through the same thing, where we were these little tiny, like the little kangaroo that crawls up the mother into the pocket, but we never found our mother. We've been looking and looking and looking. And then we did. Now we're beginning to find these things. And so I have been able to find my ancestry. My father, I never met him. He was already gone. My mother, the same thing, but I know who they are now. And I was able to get on and do my genealogy. And my father's side, my Hawaiian side, my Maori side goes all the way back to 350 BC, where I can find out who these people were. I have kahunas and queens and chiefs. All of us have that. All of us have that. We don't know who they are yet, but guess what? They know us. They know where we are. They know what we're going through. And they had a hand, I believe this with all my heart, in choosing us to be the ones to come here now. But did they abandon us? No. They are with us. They're helping us. They're empowering us. They're teaching us. He talked about how much Tony did, how much he was looking for those teachings. He knew there was this beautiful connection to the indigenous part of himself. He comes from, his bloodline is up into Colombia, into the mountains. And, it's the same with each of us. Who were they? Who are they? They live, they're alive in us, in the cells of our body. So just like that video, the Fibonacci, all of those different things, nothing ever is random. So now let's see where we are today, sitting on the couch. I don't like to watch the news, but sometimes I'm drawn to that. And I do. And I see what's happening in the world. And I think about that. And I've started trying to be mindful that when I drink a cup of water and I take a bite of food, I eat and I drink for the children in Palestine. I try to remember that when I'm able to go to bed at night, that there are people in the streets in Kansas City or LA who haven't got a bed to sleep in. And when I go to lay on my bed, I'm grateful And I pray for somebody else who doesn't have that same thing. So now, I'm not the ones that are making the laws. And I know that there are people that are in that position that are really sad and suffering because of what's happening. But what can I do? So in Hawaii, in our Hawaiian culture, we have something called ho'oponopono. And ho'oponopono, very simply, is making right. It's taking the breath of life and turning it through and making it so that we can make things right. So when I first heard about ho'oponopono, it was about a man who was a therapist, and he had an opportunity. He was offered a job at the state hospital of Hawaii, and he didn't really want to do that. It wasn't something he wanted to do, but they really needed his credentials. So he went and he took the position, and he began to really look at the files of the people that were there, and he began to work with them. And that's where I first heard about ho'oponopono, because as he studied those files and he found out who those people were and what they had experienced and what they had been through, he began to accept responsibility. Even though he didn't know them, he hadn't even met them face to face when he began studying their files. But he began doing the ho'oponopono with them. And just to boil it down very simply, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I'm sorry for whatever it is that I have done inadvertently or in any other way that has brought you here into this space with me. I'm sorry. Please forgive me, because I never intended to go out and hurt you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you for allowing me. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for hearing me say this so that I can express my feelings with you. And I love you. I love you in the purest form of love, asking absolutely nothing in return. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. So after I heard about that, Dr. Haleakala, Lynn, I was so excited. And I was in New Mexico at the time. I was working in a county jail down in Deming, New Mexico. And I couldn't wait to try it on my guys. I had 10 guys. And I went in and I was so excited. I wanted to work with them. And I decided I was going to do that with them in my men's group, without them really knowing. I wasn't going to give them any prior, information about it. I was just going to slide it into my work. But the problem was there was only 9 guys that day. Where was my number 10 guy? So I asked, where is he? Why isn't he here? And they said that his charges had gone federal. And so now, instead of being there in New Mexico where his wife and tiny little infant son were, he could be anywhere in the whole country. They could move him anywhere, and he wouldn't be able to be with his wife and his baby. And he was brokenhearted. He was devastated. He was meeting with his attorney at the time of my group. And I felt so bad. So I started with the other 9 men, and as we were working, I'd slip it into them. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you, without even really deep explanation. And then just before the end of my group, number 10 guy came in, and he was devastated. I could see that. And he came and he sat down in his chair, and he didn't say anything. And I just held his hands, and I looked him deeply in his eyes, and I said, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. 4 times. And our group was over. So I thought, I know this didn't work. I didn't get to do any of the teaching that went along with that. I was sad. The next week I went back, and they said, sorry, we don't have enough guards. You're not going to be able to have your group today. So the 3rd week I went back, and it had rained. How often does it rain in Deming, New Mexico? But our group met outside, so I couldn't have my group. So that was my 3rd week. The 4th week, I came in. I went up to the desk, and they said, oh, what are you doing here? I said, I came to do my group. They said, you don't have a group anymore. I said, what do you mean I don't have a group anymore? They said, your guys are gone. You should have called us. I said, what do you mean they're gone? I have 10 guys. Nope, they're all gone. Every single one of them. So some went, here or there, but always in every situation, it was a downsize, either to treatment, into rehab, whatever. And I said, what about number 10? Where's my number 10 guy? And they said, him? Oh, he went home. I said, what do you mean he went home? They let him go. They dropped the charges and they released him. He went home to his family. And I just stood there. And I thought, we have so much more power than we realize. We have so much more ability to affect life, not just here, but everywhere. And so with that comes responsibility. And so when we accept responsibility, even unknowingly, when we accept that responsibility, and then we add the component of apology and love, everything shifts, because nothing in this world is random. Nothing, not even chaos. So whatever's happening, it may seem terrible. It may seem like nobody's paying attention. Where's God in all this? What is he doing? But in reality, it is so far greater than we can even imagine. So that's when we go within, go into our own self, go into that part of us that is in confusion or sorrow or sadness or anger. Anger will be the biggest stumbling block for us. We need to remove those things. The feeling that we're not enough, the feeling that everybody's got more to do than we do, whatever that is, the feeling of being alone, all of those things. Guess what we can do to ourselves? I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And then give yourself a hug. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all the things I think about you that aren't true. You're not fat. You're cute. You're fluffy. You're juicy. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I didn't mean to be so mean to me. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Thank you for being my body from the moment my feet touched the ground like the baby kangaroo. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for this. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I love you. We have to begin by loving ourselves. First God, then ourselves, and then it spills out. It can't help but spill out all over everybody. So that we're walking down the street and we smile at somebody and we say hi, they'll say it back. Or if they don't say it back, they'll go, wow, what was that about? And then they'll do it to the next person and the next person and the next person. So when you take a drink of water, be sure that you think about that. How about that little child in Palestine needs a drink of water? When you go to eat your breakfast, eat for that little child. Eat for that elderly person. Just do that. Just think about them. Just when you're saying your prayer and you're blessing your food, just think about that. So I hope I'm making sense. I know I get a little wild there. I've been thinking all day about what I want to talk about. And hopefully I did hit what I wanted to talk about, because you know me, I could go on forever. But just know this, and I really mean it. I do love you. I love each of you. And I'm so thankful to be here tonight, to be able to sit with my friends, my family, my ohana with John, and I'm about to introduce him, Hoksila. I have known him for years and years and years. I don't even know how many years, but we've worked together. I love to listen to him. I've never heard anybody that can talk the way he does. He's so smooth. He takes these huge concepts and he puts them into a format that I can understand. And that, like that movie, that video that we watched, that's how I think of John. That's why I wanted that tonight too, because as you're talking and listening to him tonight, he's going to touch on what will grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. So with that, I know that there's things on the bio that I don't go to because you can read them yourself, but I will tell you that I have been with him at Sundance, and I have been able to see how he is and how he works and the ceremonies that he does. And I'm really grateful that he and I have had this opportunity to walk together in this lifetime. Ahome Takiasi. I'm going to pass it now with you, John.
Oh. Did you want to run that video first, or you want me to? Well, first off, I want to just say, Wopila Tanka, a big thanks for the opportunity of being able to speak. I want to give a Wopila to the life givers, the female that are on the other end, and let you know that I'm grateful for the water that you carry and giving us men life. Without you, nothing would be, nothing would exist. I want to say Wopila, thank you to my mother who's on the other side, who has given me life and has taught me in a good way. You know, I haven't spent my whole life adhering to the lessons that she shared with me as I was growing up, and all the women that influenced me. And I just want to say thank you once again. On the bio, you know, it states that, you know, I'm a healer. I'm not a healer. I'm an educator. I've traveled around the world and compiled a lot of different information from a lot of different people, but it all goes back to one thing, and that's our Hochoka, our center. I also do artwork and teach people through art and therapy, through the medicine wheel, the sacred tree. Our organization is fourwindswellness.org, and there's a lot of material and a lot of areas that I wish I could have the time to cover at this specific time. There is a balance that we all seek out as two-leggeds as we walk this earth. You know, we once came to earth with completion, but we've experienced the division. We have relied more on our square logic than the one eternal round in the circle. The circle lives here, the square lives here. And our journey is to ascend, because we all go through events in life that take us through this descension process. But once we separate the event from the emotion, is when we begin to move higher and higher in this thing called ascension. Once we land in our heart and we're in the innocent perception of the child, then we move upward to the renewal of our mind, because a lot of us have become extremely vexed because we want to analyze everything out. We want to argue with reality and argue with God. But where were we? Well, he was establishing the stars and placing the North Star in the north, or creating everything spiritually before it became physical. And so I liken myself unto creation, because the Creator created me in their image and likeness. But it's taken me 61 years to begin to obey and bring the elements together so that I can be as the one that created me. And so a lot of times we argue with that reality, but I've learned that when we ascend and we take principle and virtue, which is the sacred masculine, the sacred feminine, and bring them together and do this, the I becomes single to the glory of God and creation. And we begin to see everything through a very clear lens because of that integration of male and female, bride and groom, so that we can become whole. And once that mind comes together and we begin to see things through that I single, then we begin our journey downward. And that's when the mind and the heart come together and create this perfect 6-point star. And that circle around that star is the 7th level. And when our heart beats, every beat of our heart sends out this love and a celestial energy in the universe and comes back and blesses us with that celestial energy. But the journey is really getting through those lower levels, the fear, the shame, the hurt, the worry, blame, and anger that live in our stomach. And we shift into heart. When we shift into heart, we're at that place of being taught. And the innocent perception of the child, we don't see color or gender. All that's just program. And it comes from that square. It's like when we go to university and we graduate and they put a square cap on a round head and they give you a certificate that's rolled up in a circle, but you open it up and it's a square because it's an induction to a square system that'll keep you in the box. In our culture, we say, umbletu yang unkumpi, meaning the Creator makes everything in that one eternal round. But man takes the tree that's round, mills it, makes it square, builds the square home, square institution, and locks you in it. And so if we can actually take that square and put it in that circle, as Da Vinci once did, then we can really learn that integration of right, left, dad, mom, that creates this, the linear. But then we can re-erect and get into the vertical and connect sky and earth, male, female, and male, female. When we learn about those 4 concepts, we can bring them to our center, our hochoka, and live in that perfect balance of principle and virtue, to have strength in your knee and be able to move along that chankuluta, that red road, that journey from here to here, and then from here to there. As the star falls from heaven, we take the journey from the spirit world to earth, and our job is to ascend, to get back to the one that created us, or ones that created us. And that's in that angelic world, in that unseen world, because we see everything through the dualistic lens. When we see everything through the dualistic lens, what it does is divides us, because we become too principally centered, or we just completely divide the house. When your heart believes something and your breath says contrary, the tongue will split. and you become reptilian. Once the tongue splits, the house will split. And a house is divided will never stand. So we have to bring the principle and virtue together, bring sky and earth together, and understand that perfect balance within that Changlishkawacha, the sacred wheel of many colors, and learn to connect spiritually. Then take a look at our emotion, take a look at our physicality, and then our wit. So when we begin to actually take a thought to heart, which is marry your thought with your spirit, connect it to soul, then the spirit and soul begin to tell the body which way to go, and the body readjusts the mind and thinking. When you become right spinning, right thinking, right doing. A lot of people say mind, body, soul. But when they go into the mind, body, soul concept, they're going counterclockwise on the wheel. So when they take a thought to body and then they sell their soul to get their needs met physically, then they bypass spirit and they begin to move counterclockwise and degenerate. But when you take a thought to heart, which is pure spirit, that's the commander of the vessel. You see, a lot of times we want the mind to be the commander and a heart to be the captain, because we are all vessels. And if my mind starts commanding my heart, then my vessel's off course. But if I can have my heart as the commander, then it'll tell my mind, which way to go. And so this is kind of like the integration of male, female, father sky, mother earth, mother and father, to bring them together to that perfect center. If you look on the medicine wheel and you look at the east and west, east is about spirit, west is about physicality. When the west is actually overriding the east, what happens is the physical appetites of man begin to weaken the spirit. When you take south to the north, you're talking the soul to the mental. What happens is when we go through events and there's emotion connected to it, because emotion lives in the south, then what happens is it drops back into memory and you never get over or come to resolution, first of all, with that trapped emotion. And that event keeps us stuck and keeps us from evolving. That's why, like in the Christian story of Jesus Christ fasting for 40 days, what did he do? He overcame his appetites, turned the stones into bread. He overcame his ego, not wanting to tempt the Creator. Then he refused the temptation of having governments and power and all this that, say, the dark side offered him. Once he overcame the three temptations, he ascended. Then the angels descended and ministered unto him. So in life, our journey is really to overcome the natural man or woman that's an enemy to creation, because we defile the elements. You look at earth, fire, water, air, metal. There's 5 elements that live within us. Earth is our body. Fire is the spark of life. Water is what runs through our veins, the H2O blood proteins. Air and oxygen is the symbiotic relationship we have with the sacred tree. But we also have iron in our blood. If we can take the vibration of iron and raise it to gold, then basically we are doing what the Creator wants us to do and be, and that's to be exactly like they are in their perfect state. I believe that everyone is perfect, but our shortcomings make us imperfect. So if we can take our shortcomings and begin to harness and learn to overcome self-defeating behaviors, then we go through that ascension process to have the ministering of angels, because we are angels, we are angelic beings, but we have forgotten that angelic language. Every tribe has a language that's an angelic language, and it cannot be translated into English because it loses its power, you see. And so when we go into ceremony, it's using the tribal language to speak to those angelic beings, our ancestors, those that have walked before us, and those that are waiting for us to walk for them. Because you take like the menorah, and there's a center pole, and there's 3 or 4 on this side and 3 or 4 on the other. When we begin to re-erect and become more vertical, connected to sky and earth, we change generations behind us and generations in front of us. But a lot of us want to stay this way, linear, because we'll take a fall. And when we take that fall, then the tree is no good for nothing but to be cut up and put in the fire. But if the tree will re-erect, which is us, when we take the fall, to get back on our knees and make our wrongs right, that's what the Christian world calls repent. Re is to go back, penance is to pay. So when we go back and we were offended, and we go to the offender and say, forgive me for doing whatever I did to make you offend me. When you get to that state, then you're in your bliss and you're in your power. There's no room for victim. And that's what the 4 winds in our organization teaches. I've been in the world of recovery for a very long time, helping people find their center. And I use pretty basic tools, but there's a journey, and it starts in the east with the awakening. As the sun comes up in the east, do we hit the snooze button and sleep in, or are we running on borrowed time? Do we take the time to greet the sun? You know, my grandfather used to take me out at 4 a.m. and we used to go up, and he'd say, listen to this song, because we're going to sing to the sun and give praise for another day of creation before the birds sing. So this way, when the sun comes up in the spirit world, they'll recognize you even before the birds, because you're recognizing them. No different from a plate of food to the spirit world. An offering, opagi, is to put the spirit world in front of you rather than you in front of the spirit world. And that's how our whole world works, is the unseen is the seen, and the seen is really the unseen. The boogeyman doesn't run around at night. The boogeyman is in a suit and tie, ready to sign you up on a loan that'll keep you bound for the rest of your life through interest. So for us, it's really looking and identifying the unseen. And that unseen lives within you. That's why we do a lot of fasting, because to fast is to speed up. And so when we take our inner self, our spirit, and say soul, and we put that ahead of our physicality, what happens is the spirit and soul begins to move faster than the body and mind. And that's where we like to live as Indigenous people. Now, it's very difficult in this day and age because we have the mindset of something for nothing. And I think that's the demise of America today, is supersize it, or wanting to be smarter and brighter than God. The Tonkashilas, that network. You know, it's amazing that if you take that Christian story of Adam and Eve in the garden, the dark side went after Eve and went directly at her mind. Couldn't really get at her heart, but he beguiled her through her mind. And so what's happening today is that same energy is coming at us to vex our mind. This intelligence that's coming in, it's completely artificial. It's keeping us at a place where we're not even thinking for ourselves because we haven't taken the journey from here to here. Because I believe that when I think from my heart will never betray me, but my mind will, because I go into irrational lies and rationalize an action. But for me in my world today is really living in my heart and trying my best to stay in the love that I am, because that's all I have. I've consecrated my heart and everything that I own to the people, because that's where I live from, that's where I speak from, and that's where I operate from. Our organization with the Four Winds, we as an organization will live on 10% of our earnings and give 90% back to the people. Because the reality is it's about the people. And we have forgotten that. You know, it breaks my heart to see, you know, a people suffering the way they are suffering today. But why is that? Have we lost the compassion for our fellow neighbor, for another human being? I mean, it's been going on for centuries. Annihilating a people, taking away their agency, starving them to death. We really haven't seen anything yet. There's a flood coming, and it's coming in a fast way. But the reality is if you're not connected to spirit, then you will drown. Because most of us today out there are drowning because we have this mindset of supersizing it. And it's sad. It's extremely sad. People are losing their lives for saying the right thing. But to me, I've died many deaths. I do it every year when I go back and fast for 4 days and do what I do. And to us, dying is living and living is dying. So for me, I personally, physically, want to put my physicality to one side and move more on spirit, because my spirit is eternal. It's immortal. It'll go on forever. And I pray that we're able to reach the masses with technology and everything that we do. I personally am still in the smoke signals when it comes down to the digital world. I don't really understand it that well, so we have a team of people that do understand it. But if we really want to get back to the original blueprint, because I believe the original blueprint is the spirit of who you are as a human being. And you brought that from the Apowi Chachpi, from the spirit world to earth. You brought an intelligence that maybe for generations have been hijacked. The white picket fence and the American dream is turned into an American nightmare. And we have to go back to the original blueprint. We have to go back to that center to truly understand ourselves as human beings. And at the Four Winds, my whole mission is to take people on that journey to come back to the original blueprint and the love that they are and the love that created them. So we can go on to that video if you'd like. Where's the music?
It's so beautiful.
So this piece came to me in a dream, and it depicts Mount Rushmore. I called the piece Unity, but it's really rush less and be more.
Mm.
And I wanted to bring the sacred feminine into this piece because it's important that we recognize the life givers. Wambliwia is her name, Eagle Woman.
You should see.
And on the back is the tree of life.
Beautiful.
Kehaka Sapa, Black Elk's vision in his journey of bringing the four colors together. And this piece was a very inspirational piece for me. And it came years ago. And when I came back from New Zealand after serving the people out there for 12 years in Australia, the spirit came again and said, now it's time to bring this piece forth because it's about unity. And so if we can go back to unity within oneself, then we can have a healthy community to have everything in common and sit with unity to have a community. And that's what this whole piece depicts. And we'll see where it all goes. You know, I'd love to see this in Indian country, at the universities, to help and give people hope. And that's just my mission. But I want to thank you and say Wopila once again for giving me the opportunity of being able to speak. I hope I didn't offend anyone. I want to let you guys know that I love you. And if there's anything I can do for you, reach out. fourwindswellness.org. Reach out. And if you want me to come to your communities, I can come to your communities to share the message, my experience, faith, and hope. And we can truly come together as a family and create this universal ripple of oneness that we desperately need at this time. Desperately need at this time.
That's right.
But let's find it within ourselves so it lives in the four walls of our home, and then it lives in our communities. Then it starts changing things globally. Ate wakantanka wopila tonkashila wakantanka. Mashtelo. Toksha ke. We'll talk again.
Thank you. That was
Oh,
beautiful, John. That was just beautiful. And now you guys can see why I love him like I do. You know, there isn't anybody who can craft words and art the way he does. And he has his artwork is in the Smithsonian. And I've not seen anywhere near all of it, but everything that I've seen, I love so much. And he carries that. And as he does his words too, it's the same. So thank you, John, for being here with us and for honoring me that I could share this time with you.
Oh,
Thank you.
we'll see each other again. Toksha ke. There is no
Yes.
goodbye in our language.
That's it. There's no goodbye ever.
Right.
Thank you.
Yawa.
Oh, wow. Tonight was a beautiful sacred science experience for everyone. And I want to thank you both. These are both very special, and we are blessed to have your caliber of, I guess, science to share with the world. And yeah, she's supposed to be sleeping, and she certainly was not going to come on with me. She said, "I'll listen, Grandma." Okay, so so here's her listening to Grandma, but so blessed to have her in my life, and so thank you all again, and we will be on air again next week, same time, same place, for a number of weeks still. But please share this video with your friends. Please share, and so everyone can hear these beautiful words and these beautiful teachings. And this is how we bring the four winds together, the four
That's
worlds
right.
together.
That's
So
right.
Nyalagoa.
Next
Yawa.
week will be Alice Itlado, who's from Taos, New Mexico, and Patricio Dominguez. And you know Patricio, Gail.
Oh yes,
I,
oh
I don't know
yes.
if you do too, John, but they're both wonderful. So yeah, they'll be our speakers next week. And Matt, I have to honor Matt. I can never say enough good things about him. The pictures that he puts together and the bios for us to let people know what's coming. And so Matt will have those together, and then we'll be sending them out for everyone. So thank you.
Well, Wopila, Matt, thank you very much for your hard work.
He's wonderful. Okay,
All right.
Jody.
Yawa. Chimagwech. Yawa. To our honored grandmother and grandfather, elders and teachers who share their voices. What was spoken here lives beyond this moment. These teachings ripple forward. They awaken something ancient in us, something that remembers who we are and why we are here. The circle remains open. The fire is still burning, and we carry it now with humility and with courage and with love. So you are invited to tend the fire in your own heart. Listen for the voices of your elders. Walk with the ancestors. Speak truth. Be gentle and return here when the time calls again. And like Grandma Gail said, you can revisit these teachings and follow the 52-week journey on Grandmother's Voice YouTube channel. And until next time, may your path be lit by the wisdom of the grandmothers and grandfathers, and may you never forget that you are part of this story too.
Oh,
Yawa.
Yeah.
Aloha.
Aloha. Yes.